Nice.
Welcome back to Project KALM. My name is James. I'm your host. Today we are at episode 11. And as usual, I have a super cool guest on the show, Tex. How you doing, Tex?
Dude, I'm doing great. This is awesome. It's really cool to be here today.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. Can you give the audience a bit of a background on who you are and what you do, please?
So I currently do two things, right? So my main job is I work with troubled teens in a wilderness therapy program. And that's giving me the ability to work on my passion project, which is Vital Grounds. It involves health coaching and just eventually changing the way health is done in America and the world. But I can get into that a lot later. There's a lot more that goes into that. But no, so my main passion is just helping people with health, showing them what it is.
Yeah. What do you, when you say changing health on compared to like the traditional way on how America treats health, can you give us what is the traditional way that America treats health, in your opinion?
So multiple ways. I'm mainly sticking with one idea though. So health food, health products are not mass produced. Um,
Mm.
so they're expensive. They're expensive. They're not accessible easily. And you can't trust most of them because most of them have fancy labeling that makes it seem like, oh, this is healthy. But in reality, you're damaging your gut lining and you're just destroying your body in the process. So I think health right now has such a mistrust behind it through the eyes of everyone that it's like I got to the point where if I don't read nutrition labels, I don't realize what I'm putting in my body. And then in nutrition labels, they lie to you as well. They hide things. So it's like, I think the main thing I want to do is just change the way health is seen by the world by allowing it to be trusted again, and not have to label poison as poison. Or sorry, not have to label healthy food as healthy, but poison as poison.
Mm.
That's the view behind it. Make it through retail, just changing the way retail is done in the world as well.
Yeah. I mean, all these big companies, their number one driving factor is profit, right? And they don't care
Sure.
about what goes into your body,
Sure. Yeah.
whatever makes it tastier, or just like because taste can be an addiction too. Like some of those like highly satiable like potato chips and things like that, those that don't fill you up but then are just so addicting.
Yeah.
That's what they want, right?
For sure. They want it because I mean, a little tangent, but stuff
Yeah.
like that, like potato chips and stuff, are designed to not fill you up and designed to be cheap. So you buy more. You can eat a whole bag in one sitting. Like that's not normal. You can't eat a whole steak in one sitting. I mean, most people can, but like not in the same way. You'll probably be full afterwards. So it's designed for profit. It's not designed for health, and that's another thing I
Mm.
want to change as well.
Yeah. What made you want to pursue this passion of wanting to become like a health coach or just transforming health in general?
Yeah. So to be a health coach, right? I've spent so long of my very short life researching and figuring things out and just trying to share with the world like, hey, this is the truth. Like you've been lied to. You don't even know what the baseline for honesty is anymore. And that's not on you. That's not on the consumer. That's on corporations. That's on, oh, I sound like a conspiracy theorist right now. That's on just all the people that are selling you the product. So it truly is. I want to be a health coach. I just want you to know. I can't force you to do anything. That's up to you. But if you know the information, you have a baseline for what you can do and you know what is actually beneficial. For Vital Grounds, it was um, making. I have the three pillars. I just accessible, affordable, and accountable. Like I want it to be so accessible that you go to Vital Grounds to get food instead of going to McDonald's, and it's actually healthy for you. It actually benefits you. You feel great afterwards. You don't get a crash. I want it to be affordable, right? I mean, I'll get into that later because I'll talk about it for hours. But um, I want it to be cheaper than a normal retail store because health is so expensive for no reason. And then accountable, I plan on having the members like down my back, just telling me, hey, like, we don't want this in our food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want everyone to know fully transparent what's going on in the store and how it works.
Yeah, that's super sick. So you made it sound like Battlegrounds is a kind of like a grocery store, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it starts as a grocery store, right? So that's the
Yeah.
baseline. But it it's a movement in my mind, and I know that every entrepreneur says like, "Oh, it's a movement. We're starting something new." But in
Yeah.
reality, um, I've thought 20, 30 years in the future, and I've planned it out for the most part. And um, I don't want money. Like money isn't my intention. It's health. My goal in Battlegrounds, which isn't most goals for entrepreneurs, but I don't want to be on Forbes like top 100 richest people. I want to be on best employer or healthiest place to be. Like things that are like, I truly could not care less about how much money I have in my bank account as long as people that I'm helping are happy and healthy.
I
So
love it.
it's a movement. It's something that you'll go to Vital Grounds and you'll just know like, oh my gosh, one, these are my people. Like I love these people so much. I can just talk to them about health for hours. Two, it's you truly won't have to look at a nutrition label. Like why do we have to prep our brains to eat poison when we should just eat what we need to eat and our body just does what it's supposed to do without having to fight off like crap that we put inside of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're 100% spot on there. I definitely like things like nutrition, it affects every part of your body, right? It's not
Sure.
just physical health or your weight or how you look, but it's just like how your brain functions, your mental health, and your longevity. And if you don't have like electrolytes in your nutrition, you get like cramps. It's literally
Yes.
just every aspect of your life. So going down to the root, I feel like yeah, it's a definitely a lack of information, and people if people knew the information, they will make. I mean, hopefully they will make like better decision on like what they buy and or put into their body, right?
For sure.
Well, I want to park Battlegrounds to the side, and I want to talk about you for a second. Well, where does your um, mental health, or where does your health journey start?
So I've always said two places. It starts one when I was born. Um, I mean, I was adopted, parents divorced. So a lot of different stuff like in the baseline mental health. But I think the second part that I really focus on is the second time it really started. And the catalyst that brought me to where I am now is when I was younger, I took steroids because I wanted to be a bodybuilder and I wanted to be massive. I wanted to be swole. I.e., I don't recommend it at all whatsoever. But brain fog. Sometimes it's hard to find words. It's hard to remember things. It's incredibly hard to just have a conversation with someone for the most part because my brain just like it empties itself out. I just can't. There's nothing there,
Mhm.
and it's really like that paired with eating anything and everything I could to get bigger, to get more calories in. It just it wrecked me. It wrecked me for sure. And that's really where my mental health started because that's when depression came really really hard. That's when anxiety came really really hard. That was years ago, and I still suffer from those things for the most part, especially when I am not eating good and I have a day where I have a cheat meal and it's just okay, we're anxious again, we're depressed again. But that's where insomnia came. That's where like so it truly is. I found out that in that season of my life, that's what starts all of this. That is really what just like inflames your body mentally.
Mhm.
It's yeah.
That's it's, that's very deep. Where when you we're trying to come out of this dark place and trying to overturn the anxiety, overturn the depression, overturn the insomnia. What were some of the things you had to do to completely turn your life around?
For starters, I had to stop steroids. That was a big one.
Okay, that's
Uh,
step number one. Okay.
Yeah, that's step
Yeah.
number one. Don't put things in your body that your body doesn't know what to do with. Don't do that.
Mhm.
Step number two was research, right? I mean, I become obsessive with things that I thoroughly enjoy.
Mhm.
So I've done more than the average person will probably ever do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just knowing if you're ignorant about something, you can't fix it. If you don't know that something's wrong, you can't fix it because you don't know you need to. So knowing is the first step. Just having that knowledge. The second step is putting that knowledge to use, actually acting on it.
Mhm.
But I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but the main three pillars are like sleep, movement, and health. Fix those three, and 80% of your problems will be good. They'll be gone. And that's what you really need to focus on right there, for sure.
Yeah, that I feel like that's the first time we had a conversation when you said those were your three core pillars. I'm like, wait a minute, those are my three core
Yeah,
pillars.
exactly.
We're gonna be buddies. But I feel like those three things you said: sleep, movement, and you said health. I'm assuming you mean nutrition, right?
Nutrition, yes,
Um,
sir.
nutrition. Yeah, I feel like those three things are very widely talked about, but like everyone talks about it. Like everyone's like, you have to watch what you eat, you have to
Yeah,
exercise, you have to get good sleep. What like I'm sure that like everyone has at least heard it once in their life. So
yeah.
it's not that people don't know about the three things. It's already widely talked about. What do you think is the actual reason people are not making changes in their life in these three aspects?
I I like to say that people take the path of least resistance,
Hmm.
and going to McDonald's is a lot easier than making your own food at home. Um, but it's because you also like you can know everything in the world, but one, if you're not motivated or if you just don't care, you're not going to change. There's no point. You don't have an internal motivation or discipline telling you, hey, like let's not poison ourselves anymore. It's truly
Hmm.
just now. Once you know, you have to implement. You have to be um, like that's the biggest thing, right? Is if you don't implement what you've heard, what you've learned, you won't grow. Um, and you don't stay stagnant. Stagnancy is false. You either grow or you shrink. There's no in between. So it's if people could take what they've learned, use it, make it more. If we can make it more accessible for them, more affordable, make it stupid to say no, make it so dumb that it's crazy that they have to just, it's just don't say no, and then
Yeah.
removing the barriers in their way to do it. But it really is like if you don't care about something enough, why would you do it? There's no point.
Yeah, having just the reason why is
Yeah,
I feel like that's a very good starting point, right? And it's like if you don't want to be healthy, like you can't force someone who doesn't want to be healthy to be healthy, right?
true. That's true.
But it's just I mean I guess it's hard to put myself in the shoes of others who don't, because like your quality of life just deteriorates, because like the reason why I exercise and I try to I eat healthy and things like that because I come from a family of diabetics. My whole family, my parents and my grandparents are diabetic, and I can see their suffering. I can see they got to take their insulin shots. They got to stick their fingers. Now there's continuous glucose monitors, but before they didn't have that, and it's like they had to take their metformin, and it's just like it's like I don't want to if I can avoid that, like I want to do all in my power to not get to that point, right?
It's yeah. I think if you most people need a catalyst. So for you,
Hmm.
your catalyst was probably seeing your family that way.
Hmm.
Because once you get a catalyst, that's your reason why. I
Hmm.
know I have a friend who was never healthy until they had a grandparent die from cancer.
Hmm.
And then they shot for it. They were like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to go through what they just went through. I don't want to put my family through what we just went through again. So they changed their life radically once that happened. Before then, he couldn't care less. So it's everyone
Yeah,
needs that catalyst. And some people, thank the Lord, they get it early on. Other people, they don't. And it's just finding that, or sometimes having it cast upon you, that really implements and really like shoots you towards the journey of health and improving your body.
Yeah, there's like a saying. It's called, I think there's something called like the region beta paradox, where
Yeah.
if life is bad but it's not bad enough, it doesn't push you to making action, right? It's
Yeah.
like, so sometimes we gotta rip off the band-aid and go through that pain, and then actually snap ourselves out of it and go like, oh wait, things actually need to change, right? Yeah, I want to narrow down on each of those categories we spoke about. First, starting with food.
Okay.
What are some of the foods we eat that affect our mental health?
So I won't go into a whole, once you get into this line, it's sort of like the
Yeah.
controversial vegan versus carnivore type stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so I think baseline, processed foods.
Yeah.
Baseline is processed foods. Like if you're putting something in your body that had to be made in a lab, um, you didn't have to do that 200 years ago, 150 years ago, even. So it's your body's not used to it. Your body's actively fighting against it. A lot of these ingredients are literally made from petroleum, like the oil,
Yeah.
and their sole purpose is to make the food look bright, to make it look red, blue, yellow.
Mhm.
So it's an aesthetic effect that's poisoning you. Is like, okay, cool. I think with food, with nutrition, it comes down to the first step is being conscious and aware of what you are putting in your body. And obviously there's different levels of like, this is worse for you than this, but in reality, I think once you become aware, once you start caring what you're putting in your body, you're reading nutrition labels, it's more of a it's the mindset shift that sort of gets most people, and that's how they enter into that field. I personally, this is controversial, so I will admit that this isn't necessarily factual. It's what I personally
Mhm.
believe. But calories don't matter once your body's no longer fighting against itself. So as a bodybuilder, it was calories in, calories out. That's what mattered. If you want to grow, if you want to lose weight, that's exactly what matters. But
That's what I was taught too.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what everyone's taught because that's
Yeah.
just it's thermodynamics. That's what it is. But
Mhm.
the cool thing that we don't really think about is your body is really complex. Your body is so stinking complex that why would it just not align with what you're doing? If you're not poisoning it, if it's not actively trying to defend against something that you're putting in your body, your metabolism will shift to match what you're eating. I can eat. Yesterday, I had 4,500 calories of food. My maintenance is 2,200, and I didn't gain any weight. But I've been doing that actively. I don't gain weight. I can eat 3,000. I won't gain weight because I'm not putting things in my body that poison me. So it's
Mhm.
really just like it's it's a mindset shift. That's people are concerned when they eat healthy, they have to eat less, that it's gross, that it's not doesn't taste as good. Um, and now when I eat food that's processed, it tastes like chemicals. I taste like just it's just gross. It tastes like plastic. It tastes just blah. Um,
Yeah.
your body wants to eat what it needs to eat. Um, we don't we're not in tune with our bodies enough to say like, oh, this is what my body actually needs, not what I want right now because I'm addicted to it.
I can see how like it's much more difficult to get 10,000 calories of whole foods compared to 10,000 calories of chips, because I've
Yeah,
eaten a whole family size bag of Takis before throughout a
in
single
one
movie.
sitting. Yeah,
Yeah, in one sitting. But I I'm having difficulty wrapping my head around that. If you go over, even if you eat whole foods and you go over your calorie limit, just like you did, like 2,000 over your maintenance calories, you won't gain weight. Is because I would assume that I would assume that your body would want to hold fat for survival. So if you have excess calories, your body's built for survival. So
Yeah.
Can you give me a little bit more information on why you think the body won't gain weight if you have excess calories?
So I'll go into the diet of carnivore real quick, or
Hmm.
even I won't even use that word because that could be triggering for some people. But if you're eating
Yeah,
zero carbs, like there's no
yeah.
carbs in your diet at all, it's just fat and protein. Your body will go into a thing called ketosis, and it
Mm-hmm.
will start to use your fat as energy. So you burn fat more.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a calorie surplus, but you're only eating protein and fat, your fat is being burned for energy, not the carbs. So you're losing weight. You're losing fat as you gain muscle, as you gain weight because you're gaining muscle. So I misspoke earlier, and I should have said that you won't gain fat, but you may still gain weight. So I've been actively bulking, so that's another
Yeah,
reason why I'm doing that. But I'm gaining muscle on that. I'm not gaining fat as much.
makes sense. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Well, what if I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who's watching this and goes like, why why is processed food bad for you? Just because it's made in the lab, it doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not saying I think that way, but then I want to. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be people who have that thought in their mind. For what's a message you have to people who ask you why is processed food bad for us? Because not everything that's made in a lab is necessarily bad for us, right? So,
Okay.
what's your thought on that?
Let me think for a second.
Hmm.
Uh, Processed food. Um, I should say 90% of processed food, 100% of ultra processed food uh, goes through different processes in a lab that strip it of nutrients. Bread, for example, white bread at the store, they take out the nutrients so it has a longer shelf life, and then they enrich it with more nutrients that aren't as bioavailable, so they don't absorb into your body as easily. Some of those things cause inflammation. Some of those things cause um, just different issues in the body that you wouldn't get if you just had the bread the way it was created.
Hmm.
So it's processed food isn't inherently bad for you. It's how it's made, what's taken out of it, what's put into it that can be bad for you.
Hmm.
It's like we mentioned earlier. It's really based on profit. So they're going to take out the things that decrease the profit and whoa, English. They'll put in the things that increase the profit and increase the
Yeah,
shelf life. So it truly is, as of right now, food is strictly a money game. It's not a health game.
yeah,
They don't care about your health.
yeah. And some of like these chemicals that get put in to increase shelf life, I'm sure it's not your body doesn't like it, and when your body takes in stuff that it doesn't like, it's just like you said, it causes inflammation. And
Yeah,
some of the part, and then when your body gets inflamed, one part that gets inflamed is the brain, and then brain inflammation leads to like the depression, the
yeah,
anxiety, the brain fog, difficulty sleeping. And when you pair that with overusing social media, you're stacking on hyperactivity in the brain, which makes it difficult to sleep. You can see how this just spirals into just
constant
a
spiral.
bunch of other things, right? Yeah, cool, cool. I wanted to switch gears to movement, which is my favorite thing. I love exercising, and it seems like you love exercising
I
as
love it
well.
too, for sure. Yeah.
Before I go into like some of like the technical stuff, just a personal question: do you have like a specific split you do for your exercise, like upper body, push pull legs?
So I recently, within like the last 3 months, started a new program,
Mhm.
um, and it's working for me. I got bored of lifting weights after bodybuilding. It was just like I'm doing nothing. I'm literally just lifting heavy things off the floor. So I switched to calisthenics, and I've been doing that for a while. But recently, I'm now training for an ultra marathon. Uh,
What?
I training isn't as successful as I'd like it to be, but I'm training, and I have a year to prepare. So I'm set on that. But it's so a lot of running, a lot of I do kettlebell workouts now for functional
Hmm.
strength and maces and clubs to sort of build that shoulder mobility and the back strength as well. So that's personally what I do. I do pull ups, dips, push ups, and then kettlebell, mace, and club. and run. That's pretty much all I do. I don't. My whole thing is if I have to pay for a gym membership when they didn't have to thousands of years ago, like I don't want to spend $80 a month. I don't. I could just spend $200 one time and be set for like years.
Yeah. I feel like I'm reaching the age I need to start doing the functional stuff like kettlebells or things that
Yeah,
require movement because I'm
yeah.
still lifting the weights, acting like I was 21, and I just keep getting injured. Like I just tore my
Yes.
meniscus. I'm actually having a knee surgery next Tuesday.
Wow.
So and then like when I go heavy on like incline dumbbells, bench press, like my shoulder always just feels a little bit off. I'm like, dude, I think because I'm about to turn 30. I'm like, I think this is the age when people kind of dial it back on the heavy weights. But
Yeah, for sure. I think that when it comes to that, it's really when you're lifting heavy, you have to
Mhm,
remember that your muscles increase in size before your joints and your ligaments increase in strength.
mhm,
So you can lift heavier, especially if you're on steroids, your muscles will increase super fast compared to your ligaments and your joints. Um, so that increases your chance of injury. So
uh,
when you're training for mobility, which mobility is literally just being able to move, the ability to move, and flexibility, those two are really like your best chance for avoiding injury. You won't be perfect. You could still get injured, but I mean, if you're working on those two things, you're building the baseline for being able to lift heavier. If you avoid
mhm,
those, it's sort of like you're going to reach a point. Like I broke my back when I was before I was bodybuilding, and it was like,
yeah,
okay, cool. But if I had done these exercises, I would have had a lower chance because my back would have been more resilient to that injury.
yeah. It's all the in between muscles, right? All the smaller muscles that get fallen behind. Yeah, I've been training for working out for 12 years, and I've never done the mobility stuff. So I feel like it's finally catching up.
Probably, for sure. It's
Yeah,
hard. It's a different shift because when you're in the gym, your mindset is um, depending on why you go. I went for
yeah.
depression. I went because I didn't want to do this anymore, and it helped me. But I wasn't thinking about my body. I was thinking about
Mhm,
expressing emotion, and that was the
mhm.
best way I could do it productively. So in turn, I would get injured because I didn't care about that part of me at that time.
Got
But
it.
keeping that up is really what will. That's the difference between. Oh gosh, I heard a quote from a mobility instructor, and they basically said that people who turn 50, 60, 70, they don't lose mobility because they got old. They lose mobility because they stopped being mobile. If you stop,
Mm,
if you stop working out, your muscles are gonna you're not gonna be as strong.
yeah.
If you stop walking, if you stop running, if you stop doing mobility workouts, which isn't walking and running per se,
Mm.
then you will lose that function, just like with anything else in your body.
Oh, I s okay. That explains my knee tear because I stopped doing cardio, and then I think what how I originally tore my knees is because I'm like I need to start doing cardio again. I started running out of nowhere, and then the squats just aggravated it. But
Oh gosh,
uh,
yeah.
I just use it as as like a reminder. I'm like, oh, this just means I should never do cardio again. But now that you say it that way, maybe I should be doing more cardio to ensure that I don't lose mobility in my knees. Okay, okay,
You can even with
cool.
cardio, you don't have to run. So cardio isn't
Yeah,
necessarily running.
yeah,
Cardio is just cardiovascular. It's just helping your heart. So um, actually, I wanted to mention this too because a lot of people get scared when I mention fitness or
yeah,
movement. Um, Movement doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym. Movement does not mean you have to run an ultra marathon. Movement does not mean you have to climb a mountain. Movement is strictly challenge yourself a tiny bit for where you are. If you can only walk 10 feet, walk 11. Like don't be um, bogged down by these people on Instagram and social media that are the top 1% that've been doing it for 12 years that are probably on steroids that do all these things that
yeah.
make you look good Focus on where you are, focus on what you did yesterday, and try to beat yesterday's high score. That's
I
all you
love
need.
that.
Don't, like, if you're 80 years old, please, for the love of the Lord, do not go run an ultra marathon tomorrow. I beg you. But if you could get off the couch, or if you could
Mhm.
walk, just stand up. If that's where you are, stand up. Sit down, stand up. Like, you have to base it off of where you are, not where you want to be. You can work
Yeah.
there, but you gotta start small.
I love that. That's exactly what I think in all aspects of life. I feel like when we compare ourselves to especially social media nowadays, it's like it, it makes you think like why bother even starting? But like I even get it myself. Like why bother uh, even doing this? But then like I have to constantly remind myself the starting point doesn't matter, and in this race the only person you're going against is who you were last week. That's it. It's just you against yourself.
Yeah,
And as long as you're beating last week James and you're moving those inches forward, that's all that matters, right?
exactly.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to movement, like the two main reasons I hear from people on like why they can't incorporate movement is usually because number one is pain in the body,
Yeah.
and number two will be feeling too fatigued or tired.
Okay.
If someone comes to you with these reasons, what's a message that you can tell them?
So for the most part, it would be hyper personalized.
Hmm.
Like, if you have pain in your knee, I'm not going to ask you to work your elbow joints, right? But
Hmm.
really, pain in the body comes down to you haven't used it. You haven't used those parts, so they're straining. They're trying to catch up, but they can't because they don't know how. You haven't trained them to be strong, so they won't be. So pain in the body. Now it is different. You can have. I don't want to hyper generalize this because it really is not that easy. You could
Of
have pain in
course.
your body for. When I broke my back, I had nerve pain. That doing cardio wouldn't help with that. That's not something that's going to help with nerve pain.
Hmm.
But if you have aching in your joints, one recommended, go see a chiropractor, go see a doctor. Make sure you get, like, medical help before you listen to a health and wellness coach, because I can
Yeah.
give you so much, but like, I have to say that. I just have to say that. Go get scans. Go do all that stuff first. You can bring it to me
Yeah.
if you. But when it comes down to it, or pain in the body really is your body telling you something's wrong or something's off, and that you need to
Hmm.
fix it. So don't ignore the pain. I know I used to. I was like, oh, that's just the pain of working out. I'll deal with it. And then you get injured. And it's like, oh, I wonder who would have told me that I was going to get injured. And it's your body telling you the whole time. When it comes to being fatigued, that's a little different. That could be so many different things.
Of
And I
course.
know a lot of people don't want to hear that. But it could be so many different things. It could be you're tired. You're not sleeping well. It could be your body's not adjusted um, to the new level of intensity you're putting it under. When I went from not a desk job, but from working at GNC, the nutrition store, to working in trades, I was fatigued all the time. I went from sitting behind a desk to working 14-hour days outside. So it's like your body has to adjust. In a few months, I adjusted. But that really just comes down to, like, sleep. How are you sleeping? Are you sleeping well? We'll get to that in a second. And then your movement. If you're not actively training your body to lift heavier loads or to do heavier things, harder things, it won't.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
nutrition is a big thing. We can get a complete diet from Whole Foods, or a complete
Yeah.
nutrition profile from Whole Foods. We don't need supplements, but sometimes you are lower in supplements. You are lower in some,
Mhm.
you have some deficiencies and you need to boost those up, like B12 or D3. Those will help with energy. But that's really something where it's like, if I was going to work with a client on being fatigued or in pain, um, one, blood test. I got to get you a blood test. We got to see what's really going on. I'm not going to just tell you something that could be the complete opposite thing. And I have a story that I could tell you later, or by
Go
yourself.
ahead.
But
No.
so Um, when you are deficient in vitamin D3, you have the same symptoms as arthritis. So if you go to the doctor and they don't do any tests and you tell them your symptoms, they'll say you have arthritis. They'll put you on medication. All the while, you're still deficient in vitamin D3. So you're still going to have that. You're going to be stuck on medication. And then eventually, you'll probably have to get put on another medication because vitamin D3 goes down, something else is going to go down. So it's in reality, if you got a blood test and just ate more D3, you'd be set. You wouldn't have to go to that process. So it really becomes a just let's get blood tested. Let's see what the problem is, not what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
And then we can solve the problem, not cover the symptoms. But that's independent per person.
Yeah, I feel like anything online, it's whenever it comes to health and wellness, it needs to be taken with like a grain of salt, because just like you said, like just the symptom of fatigue itself, it could be stemming from a million different things, right? And
Exactly.
then this is why you need to work with like a health coach like yourself who can figure out why the problem is there in the first place for you, right?
Yeah.
And that and that's why people go and see like the TikToks of like, oh, you need to, if you take fish oil, it's going to solve X, Y, and Z, and then they just um, or if you take like vitamin B12 supplements, it's gonna solve like A, B, and C. And then when you take it, it's like, oh, it didn't do anything for me. And it's because that wasn't what your body needed. Your body probably
Exactly.
has its problem somewhere
Yeah.
else. We need to figure out where that problem is coming from first. And then the only way you can figure out the problem is working with an expert, right?
I think so. I scroll on Reddit. I love Reddit.
Yeah.
That's my playground. And a lot of the things, I'm in a subreddit called Biohackers. And a lot of the times they'll list something that is like, dude, this changed my life. This really just, I felt great. I felt like a god when I was on this. This was awesome. And then someone else
Mhm.
takes it like, dude, I felt nothing. It's because you didn't need it.
Yeah.
You needed it. So when you're deficient in something, your body is running at suboptimal levels. You may not realize it because you're used to it and you've been doing it forever. It just feels normal. But
Mhm.
if you are in pain, if you are fatigued, something isn't right. Like that's not normal. Don't claim that that's normal for you. Um, try to see what's wrong, what is deficient, and then try to fix it. And
Mhm.
like you said, if someone is taking D3 supplements and they're like, dude, I feel great. This makes me feel awesome. They were deficient in D3. Someone else
Mhm.
who's not deficient in D3 takes those things, but is deficient in vitamin B12, for an example, they won't feel anything. It won't improve their life in any way except for it'll decrease their bank account on something they don't need. But
Yeah.
if vitamin B12, they would be feeling great. So it's really just like one, it's the nutrition profile. It's how balanced it is. Are you deficient?
Mhm.
Do you need to stop taking some because you have too much in your system, which can also cause some side effects. So
Mhm.
it really just comes down to like blood tests, find out what you need to know. That's baseline. Don't listen to oh my gosh, I plead with you. Anyone who is listening, don't listen to TikTok doctors in the sense of actual doctors, yes. TikTok doctors is what I call them when they think they know everything and all they did was find it on another TikTok. And they're like, XYZ will solve all your problems. But in reality, um, XYZ is poison and or XYZ literally has nothing to do with anything you're deficient in. So you're just spending
Mhm.
money. You're listening to people that do have influence. And that's something that makes me mad is like you'll have a position of influence. It is your responsibility to be truthful and honest and to protect the minds of those who listen to you, not to abuse the minds of those who listen to you. So it's
Mm.
truly um, baseline. Get a blood test, find out what you're deficient in, you specifically, and then you can go from there.
Yeah. And vitamin D, you can also get it from just lying in the sun, right? It doesn't always have to be from supplements. Yeah.
My favorite thing is I joke about it. So um, for the past however long the Earth's been in existence, and the sun has never been an issue. But the past
Mhm.
100 years, all of a sudden, it's the biggest villain in all of human history. That's because the stuff we're inputting in our diet and the stuff we're putting on our skin. But if you go outside around noonish, when the sun's at its peak or around that time, outside for 30 minutes a day, and you have like you're wearing shorts and like a shirt. If you want a shirt off, that's fine too. But just having the most skin accessible to the sun, so you can absorb that vitamin D. That's peak for sure. Um, I'd get into sunburn stuff, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you for those who are struggling with sleep, which we're going to talk about next, if you do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, it's going to also help you fall asleep at night. So some of these habits, it can help in multiple areas, right?
Yeah,
But let's talk about sleep. Like sleep is such a loaded one because
it
there's like
is
a million micro actions that like come together
for sure.
that for you to have good quality sleep. And then when I say good quality sleep, some people go like, I get my 8 hours a night, but I'm still like my mental health is still, I still have anxiety every
Yeah,
morning when I wake up, or I still feel tired all the time. And I say quantity. I mean, quantity does matter to some degree, but the quality matters a lot more. Because,
it
like, if you
does.
take sleeping meds, or if you drink alcohol, or if you, or even if you scroll through like TikTok for like an hour before you go to bed, you can still get the 8 hours of sleep, but your brain doesn't go into that deep sleep where it's the deep restorative sleep where it like clears all the junk, right? What are some of so like with that said, what are some of like the biggest needle movers um, for someone who's looking to improve sleep? What are some of the biggest needle movers that they can do or implement tonight?
So, um, it like you said, it's a lot of small things. So first off,
Yeah.
I heavily believe in a thing called sleep sanctuary, making where you sleep for just that purpose, where you sleep. Don't eat, don't do anything else there because then your body will be trained to think that hey, that's not for sleep. That's a
Mm,
smaller one, but it's a massive one once you really start getting into like the nitty gritty. Um, I think the best thing you can do um, is truly one try and be more active. If you're actually tired, you'll go to sleep. If you're not tired, your body doesn't need it as much, or it doesn't think it needs it because you haven't done anything to make it worthy of its time. Um,
mm,
I think having good sleep starts in the morning, directly when you wake up. Um, for my job, I love it because I wake up outside. I wake up with the sun. I don't have my phone on me, so it's the first thing I do is open my eyes and I'm outside. There's the sun. There's nature. There's all of these things. But when you are a normal person and you sleep in your house, the best thing
yeah.
you can do is get natural light first thing. Don't scroll on your
Mm,
phone first thing in the morning. Um, Drink water first thing in the morning. Avoid drinking caffeine for like 90 to 120 minutes after you wake up. There's so many different small things that you can do that will improve and just sort of actually I don't know if your viewers know this. My so cortisol is the stress hormone or I
mm,
just call it the activation hormone. Your cortisol becomes really high in the morning. That's why you wake up. That is your
mhm.
uh, fight or flight. That's your adrenaline type stuff. It's cortisol. So in the morning it increases, and that's why you wake up. And then throughout the day it sort of goes down, and then at nighttime it'll be at its lowest when you're about to fall asleep. And then your melatonin increases around that time, and that's why you get tired. So when you think of sleep, don't think of like this magical thing that just sort of it's just there. You fall asleep, you wake up, but it's really a lot more different. It's a lot more complicated. There's really two main components, and those are the ones I just mentioned: cortisol and melatonin. If those are on track, if those in your circadian rhythm are on track, you'll sleep. Just sleep how you're supposed to. Your body will get the rest it needs. If they're not, then that's where things can be wonky. So when I inform people on let's improve your sleep, I'm not improving your sleep per se. I'm wanting to improve how your cortisol, your melatonin, and your circadian rhythm react in your body,
Hmm.
and if they're doing it at the right times. And that's sort of the basis of like, let's look at the problem, not the symptom. Your symptom is your sleep.
Hmm.
The problem is the chemicals in your body that are misaligned because of certain aspects you're doing throughout the day or not doing throughout the day. Caffeine is a big one.
Hmm.
So caffeine, if you didn't know this, caffeine does not give you energy. Caffeine makes you feel like you're not tired. So you have a thing called adenosine, and that floods your brain in the morning. That wakes you. That makes you feel tired. So that increases at night.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um, when you take caffeine, it blocks that receptor in your brain, so you don't
Hmm.
feel tired. When you drink caffeine too early in the day, it blocks it before it's had its chance to sort of like dissipate, so you get a crash at the end of the day.
Hmm.
When you take it too close to night, you're blocking that, so you don't feel tired. So then you don't
Yeah.
sleep. Or if you do sleep, it's not high quality because your brain's not allowing itself to go into a full REM sleep. So sleep is the most complicated just because there's so many, like a lot of tiny moving parts. It's not just like do this, do that. It's like it's so much. You can take things to help, but in reality, uh, with all of these things we've talked about, before you start buying things for it, optimize what you can for free. Optimize what you can that your body will automatically do because it's a very complex machine. And then after that, if you're still struggling or if you want to optimize more, we can talk about supplements. We can talk about buying certain things, but you don't need to spend $2,000 on like a sleep mask. You don't need to, um, I don't know, you don't need to buy a sauna for your house at night. Like you don't have to do these things. They may help, but I guarantee you, allowing your body to function how it should function will help 80%, whereas those things are like 20%, maybe even 5%. So it's really just focus on what your body needs, not what you want for your body.
I agree because like the thing is people try to find the magical trick, right? But then they're hoping that this magical trick will outperform the fundamentals, and then their fundamentals are all out of whack, right? So like they're
Exactly.
so like just like you said, not getting just sunlight in the morning to let your body know that it's awake, not falling asleep at the same time every night. That way you have like that baseline circadian rhythm, drinking caffeine too late in the day, electronics before bed, so it turns off your melatonin production, which you just mentioned. Just like if the base if the fundamentals are just completely out of whack, no matter what you add on, whether it's that sauna, whether it's supplements, whether it's that mask, it's not. Maybe it might put a band-aid on the symptoms, but then your wound's just going to continue to grow underneath, right? You won't be getting that good quality sleep, and then that's when like, and I feel like sleep is like the time when like where essentially your body just goes back to square zero. Hopefully that's what it's intended to do. That's why you feel rested and refreshed next day. But then when your body never has a chance to go to zero, it goes to let's say it goes to five, and there's 5 out of 100 junk still built up from the day before. That five is going to stack up with the next night's five, and with the next night's five, and over
Yeah, that's
time, yeah, and it happens so gradually, you don't even notice the negative impact it has on your body until one day you get like a panic attack. And then
yeah,
now and when the panic attack happens, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's not just last night's junk that you're trying to overturn, but now you have a decade of just sleep debt, fatigue, and just all this emotional damage inside your brain that you have to overturn, which is why usually after the first panic attack, people have like their baseline anxiety just shoots up, and then
yeah.
it becomes a little bit more difficult to turn back.
It's really sad too
Yeah.
because it's knowledge, right? It's um, as someone who's had anxiety, still has anxiety. When I don't sleep
Mhm.
well, when I'm not not doing the things I'm telling you, I notice that it increases. I notice that it gets
Oh,
worse. And it's most people already have stressful lives, right? So we already
mhm,
have that like constant fight or flight. We're already in that constant just war in our mind of like overthinking, anxiety, depression, insomnia, all these things. When the baseline of it is like we don't want to add on to that. We don't want to make it worse. So just allow yourself to sleep. Don't like I know that when I'm working hardcore, and you probably struggle with this too sometimes, especially if you're working on a business, but I'll work 20-hour days
yeah,
sometimes. I'll work like 18-hour days sometimes, and I'm getting 6 hours of sleep. And it's like, okay, let's not do that because the next day I can't focus as much. I'm not as strong in the business as much. I'm suffering. I'm moving down the totem pole. And it's okay,
mhm,
you're literally building a health business. You gotta be healthy. You can't do that. You know exactly what you're doing to your body. Just stop. Just allow yourself to rest. I guarantee you that if you can increase your sleep quality, sometimes increasing your sleep length can actually be worse for you. I know that when I sleep 10 hours, I feel terrible. When I sleep seven and a half
mhm,
hours, I feel great. So it's sleep length doesn't matter as much as sleep quality. It still matters
mhm.
and it can impact your sleep quality, but it's more of it's a symptom, right? So to bring it back, I got distracted a little bit. I apologize. The whole 8 hours of sleep, a lot of people get that misconception. That's average. My grandpa can sleep for 6 hours and feel great. I personally feel great on 7.5 hours. My brother needs 9 hours or he does not function. So it truly is dependent on the person. And that's something I
Mhm.
work with as well. But it's really, you can find all this information online for free. It's a lot harder, obviously. But truly just figure out what works best for you. Don't focus on the broad information, the general information that's given to everyone to appease everyone. Focus on what's really best for you in all of these categories: sleep, movement, and nutrition, for sure.
Great advice. It seems like we do a bunch of small bits that people can start incorporating into their lives.
Yeah.
And I like to call these like tools inside like our
Okay.
mental health or just our health toolbox because improving our health, it's like building a house. Like no matter there's not a going to build the house. You
Yeah.
need all these smaller tools. Having many a variety of tools is a lot easier. Makes building the house a lot easier, right? And re- recently you tried Calm and you added Calm into your
Yes.
toolbox. What did Calm feel like for you?
So I got it at the perfect time too. I feel like because I just started going through different waves of like nervousness and tiny bits of anxiety, and I was able to take it. Um, it took like 2-ish days. Like I felt a little bit on the first day, but the second day I took it, it was really like okay, I feel very mellow. I feel very at peace. I feel very calm right now. There you go. Yeah, I feel very calm right now.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see. I've taken things in the past that sort of do the same thing, but don't really. They do things that can help with it, but they don't do that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see. I'm definitely gonna get more for sure. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I feel like a lot of us who love exercise, we are all supplement junkies. So I'm sure you tried a lot of supplements in the past yourself. Do you think there's anything that kind of like compares or is kind of similar to Calm in any way?
Um, yeah, I have a few that I can see, but
Mhm.
it's sort of like I'd say like a diagram. I forgot what I forgot the diagram that has the two circles and like the middle thing.
Venn diagram? Yeah.
Venn diagram. It's sort of like that, right? So they have similarities, and it may be a lot, but
Mhm.
it doesn't do exactly what a calm would do. Like ashwagandha is a really good one. I'd recommend for people. That definitely helps
Mhm.
you calm down. But for some people, it doesn't work as much. So it's like you have to depend on like, do I want to buy this to find out it doesn't work and then I wasted money or et cetera, et cetera. Or I know actually this is a big one that isn't necessarily what you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Um,
Yeah.
KALM is one ingredient. A lot of these supplements, unless you can find the right brand, they'll have fillers, they'll have color additives, they'll have just all of this extra stuff that doesn't need to be in there to make it look pretty or to make it advertise better. And that was a really big push off for me. And a lot of people that I tell is like, you have to be so careful about what you put in your body, even if it seems healthy, because there's stuff in it that doesn't need to be in there. KALM is only one ingredient. So you're not going to
Yeah.
get that really anywhere else for what KALM specifically does.
Mhm.
But supplement wise, ashwagandha, GABA or GABA helps. Um, oh boy, there's a lot of things that sort of help with anxiety, but it's more complicated for sure.
Yeah, I think L-theanine is also L-theanine with lemon balm. I think,
Oh yeah, that works for
uh,
sure.
yeah, that one's. I think from all of it, that was the only one that I felt a bit of a calming. It was like a more closer to the sedating side, I would
Yeah,
say. But
that's the
it's
downside.
yeah, it's but what how a supplement affects me, it can affect someone else completely differently. So it's
Exactly.
like if you're gonna go into the supplement world, you just have it's just a trial and error, and your body's a lab rat. So
Exactly. Yeah. It's fun. I think that L-theanine and lemon balm. This is what I
uh,
meant. So it's like a Venn diagram, right? Because those two
yeah,
specifically, you take those together, you'll probably fall asleep.
yeah,
Calm didn't make me feel tired because I didn't want to feel tired, but it made me
yeah,
feel just like mellow. Like it was, you know what? I feel pretty good right now, and it's okay. Like I
yeah,
am. But lemon balm, L-theanine, magnesium 3 and 8, um, apigenin. These things they'll help with sleep. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. They'll help with sleep. They're really good at helping with sleep. Um, but you have to be careful because you don't want to. Sometimes you don't want to fall asleep. You just want to be okay. And
Mhm.
it's yeah. So it depends on the person for sure. But also
Yeah,
you have to watch dosage. You have to watch. Um, these things can add up in price so incredibly fast, as anyone who's taken supplements know. 2 bottles is like $80 depending on what you get, and it's gonna last you a month. So it's insane. When in reality, you're not even getting what you specifically want. You're still trialing it. You're still testing it. Some companies won't let you return it. It's a whole thing. But yeah,
mhm. Yeah. Well, for someone who's watching this right now, I'm sure there's just we just threw a bunch of information at them, and they're just being shotgunned.
yeah,
And I'm sure for someone who just wants to get started on their health, mental or physical health journey, this could feel a bit overwhelming. Where is a actionable first two steps that you can provide to someone who never uh, who's who has never started their health journey in the first place, and they're like, where the heck do I start? Do I start with sleep? Do I start with drinking water in the morning? What do I do? What are the two things that they can get started on today without having to buy anything?
okay. Without buying anything, um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take food out of that context because you do need to buy healthier food.
Okay.
But in terms of like no nothing you don't need. Um, very first step. This one's simple. Um, it'll be complicated. Eventually, there will be sources out there that'll be trustworthy. But the first step is realizing what you are putting in your body, what you are doing, how it is impacting your health. Really, just get down to the mindset shift of, dude, this isn't good for me. This is terrible for me. Like, how asking how asking how is the first step you can do. And if you're already watching this, you're already in that mindset. So it's like that's the first step. So I'll give you 3 steps for y'all specifically if you're watching this and you are confused. I gave you a lot of information, and you just want a basic action step. The first thing you can do is just start actively trying to get better. And in that sense, I mean, like, yes, that's also very broad, but for health, right? Or sorry, for nutrition, start looking at nutrition
Mhm.
labels. You don't have to buy healthier stuff yet. You don't have to buy the most expensive healthy stuff yet. You just have to buy, you don't have to, but you should buy stuff like you have $12 eggs and you have $2 eggs. $12 eggs are a lot healthier for you than $2 eggs, but eggs are better than candy. So if you buy the best you can afford, is the step I say for nutrition. Buy the best you can afford. Don't compare yourself to the people that have their wooden pallets and they're eating avocados and steak and they're having all this stuff. That's not you yet. Buy the best you can afford.
Mhm.
If you can buy $3 ground beef, buy $3 ground beef. If you can buy $12 ground beef, buy $12 ground beef. It's like, don't get caught up in the price. Health is affordable if done correctly. Not nutrition, movement. The thing you can do today without spending any money is find your baseline. Where do you stand? If you can walk 10 steps, that's your baseline. That's where you start. That's where we work off of. If you can run an ultra marathon, I think you're doing pretty good. Like, I think you can push yourself still. You can always push yourself. You can always do harder things. I know that when I did bodybuilding and I switched to calisthenics, I was strong, but I wasn't functionally strong. And it, I felt weak. I felt like I just started in the gym again and I had just gotten out of the gym. So it's you can always challenge yourself to do new things, but for movement, for fitness, find your baseline, do push-ups, do whatever you feel like you need to do. Just find something that you want to do or you think you'd be interested in, and start pursuing that. Start seeing where you start, where you end, et cetera, et cetera. Find your baseline. And for sleep, this one's more complicated. All you have to do, I give you your first step, is to not drink caffeine 7 hours before you go to sleep, and to not drink caffeine 90 minutes after you wake up, or until 90 minutes after you wake up. Everything else is it's a lot of small things that make a really big thing, but just doing that one, that's a good first step, because that will get you into the, oh wow, I'm actually tired now. Oh wow, I'm not having this crash in the afternoon. So you'll start to see results in that way. And all of these things, yes, they're first steps. The cool thing about them is that they will lead you into your next step without having to ask anyone. Because once you are in nutrition, once you start buying the healthy food, you're like, oh, this makes me feel better. How can I feel even better? And then you start going into, maybe let's increase the price on this, make it a priority, more of a priority than it was, and then eat out less. That's a big thing as well. Eat out less, spend more money on food at home. It's a lot of smaller things, but those are the three steps. Don't worry about price on the food. Buy the best you can afford.
Mhm.
Uh, with movement, find your baseline. Find where you need to start. If you've already found your baseline, uh, do something harder every day. Push it a little further every day. And then for your sleep, really just comes down to focus on the caffeine, focus on fixing your cortisol and your adenosine and your melatonin, and then everything else will sort of fall into place. But once you start doing these things, your brain will actively want to know more because it's curious.
Yeah, I feel like it's cooking healthy. Of course, there's like organic stuff where it's just super expensive, but then I think like the first baseline, even without eating everything organic, you can still have very affordable, healthy food. Like for example, I eat a pound of chicken per meal, and my
Yeah,
meals come out to $3.50.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, and then that's a pound of chicken. So like most people can't even eat a pound of meat. So like if you do like a half pound of chicken, that would be like $2, right? So it's
Yeah,
like it's possible. It's a little bit extra work. You need to plan. You need to plan like, oh, when you want to cook your meals, or like when to, or buy in bulk and things like that. There's a little bit more planning and thinking involved, but
yeah.
it's definitely possible. And you made me think of like a cool challenge for like anyone listening. If you guys have any like chips or any candy in the home, with ChatGPT and Google AI, you guys should take a picture of the ingredients list and just go like, what do these do to my body? and
Yes.
just kind of play around with things and go like and understand what you're putting into your body, right?
The cool thing about this stuff. So
Yeah.
I want to mention to everyone here that when you do this, when you actively start to research this stuff, you have sites, you have sources that are lying to you,
Mm.
that don't follow what the studies say. It is my goal to never say anything out of opinion unless I'm telling you it's an opinion. But not everyone does that. So when you're following this stuff, it really comes down to you have to use your wisdom. You have to use discernment. You have to be able to understand, like, okay, this source is showing me a study that says this is bad for me. This source is more trusted, but they're not quoting a study. They're not quoting a research article. And they're saying the complete opposite. Like, which one do you trust? You want to trust the one that has the actual study. Um, a lot of things are here for profit, like we've talked about. A lot of things aren't going to want you to eat healthier. Um,
Mhm.
for chips specifically, chips aren't inherently bad. It's how they're made. And I say this for
Mhm.
everything. It's really, when it comes to food, everything, maybe besides candy, can be made healthy. And even then, some candies can be made healthy. Chocolate, with the right ingredients, is actually really good for you, like extremely good for you. Dark chocolate. Chips,
Antioxidants, right?
yeah,
It has
it,
antioxidants. Yeah.
antioxidants. Caffeine is good for you if taken correctly. I know Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist. He's very popular. I think he said he takes like 700 milligrams of caffeine a day, but he knows how to, like, he knows how to take it. It's actually, studies have shown that it's actually good for your. It's one of the best nootropics we have. But people abuse it, and people don't take it correctly, and they take it through sources that have a lot of other crap in them that sort of negate the properties, like an energy drink
Mhm.
or like a Monster. You're going to have caffeine, but you're also going to have a lot of other crap in there that just negates really the benefits of the caffeine. Um, but chips, for an example, I eat chips. I eat potato chips that have 3 ingredients: potato, salt, and avocado oil. Chips at the store you'll get that have like 12 ingredients, 24 ingredients, and it's like, I don't need titanium dioxide in my chip to make that little white speck a little whiter. Like, you don't need that stuff. So it's truly just like, if you are going to go down this path, use wisdom, use discernment, understand that, um, you're getting into the path of, you're going to probably be called a conspiracy theorist sometimes, just because what you're saying isn't the norm. What you're believing isn't the norm, but don't let that scare you. Realize that you're doing this for you. You're doing this for your family. Don't let other people who really don't care about you tell you what you should do. That's sort of my 2 cents on it. Is like, you're not stupid. None of y'all are stupid. Y'all are smart. Y'all are actively pursuing health. Um, don't fall into a trap.
Yeah, that's good. Especially because like it's hard to tell. There's just so much information. It's hard to tell what information is true, what is false, and even the studies, like who is the study funded by, and things like and that. But that's a whole another rabbit hole that
That's why I
I don't
didn't
want to
mention it.
get.
Yeah, because I would have talked about that for hours.
But because like companies are going to publish studies that help them, with
Yeah.
it all falls back to more profits or less profits, right? But that's another rabbit hole for a whole another hour. But I want to wrap this up with 3 speed round questions, Tex, just so just to tickle your mind and throw you a curveball. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is super simple. What's the favorite thing you like to do on your off time?
Ooh, on my off time. So this one's complicated because I have a job that I work, and I work for 8 days on, and then I have 6 days off. But on my 6 days off, my favorite thing to do is work on battleground. So
Yeah.
I enjoy archery, I enjoy chess, I enjoy reading. I used to be addicted to television and video games, and I was like, hey, I'm not doing that anymore. I just waste my time. And I actively got out of that. So now it's things that seem boring, but I actually enjoy. They calm me down. They're able to. Battlegrounds, like, as you know, working on business, it just excites you. It invigorates you. It makes
Yeah.
you feel more like you have a purpose. So those are really the 3 things. I've just gotten into swing dancing too. I'm trying that out a little bit. That's kind of fun, kind of scary, kind of fun. Yeah,
Is this swing dancing?
yeah. It's like,
You guys any
yeah, it's interesting
you
for
guys send
sure.
us some videos so we can upload it for the viewers. I'll edit it on at the end.
Oh, I mean, I'll send you one. I don't know. I'm not that great. I've kicked a few people in the face on accident. So I've kicked
Yeah,
myself on accident. So I won't send you that one. I'll send you the one that I look good in.
yeah. Or we can always do it, upload one down the line. But that's super cool.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
Second question is, what is a daily habit that you never skip, no matter what, non-negotiable?
So, um, personally, I spend time with the Lord every day. That's a daily habit I'm not going to give up. Outside of that, it really comes down to I need to move. I need to be outside every day. If I'm not outside every day, I feel like crap. I got a headache. Um, it's not going to go good. So I combine those two actually. I spend time with the Lord outside, and it works. But I would say like best thing I can do besides those two things, which I feel like everyone should do, is drink water with
Oh,
electrolytes. If you don't do that, you're gonna feel like crap.
mhm. If you don't do that, you won't be able to do anything for
Exactly.
a while.
That's crucial.
uh, cool, cool. Lastly, what's one thing you wish more people knew about taking control of their health?
One thing I wish more people knew about taking control of their health. It's in your hands. So I know that I'm talking a lot about like corporations and all this stuff, people lying to you, but in reality, it's um, we do have the information out there that is true and accurate. You do have people like myself, like James, who really want to help you. Like our goal is to help you. We want you to succeed. We want you to be healthy. Um, it's in your hands. I can't force you to do anything. You can hear this. You can take it. You can go change your life, or you can take it and just like, okay, cool. That was a cool hour and however long. I'm just gonna not do anything now. Like it's don't blame other people for what your lack of action. Um, but also, I need you to know that there are people out there that care for you. There are people out there that don't want to charge you $20,000 for a health course, but they'll do it for free. Find the people that want to do that because that's their passion. Money is not their passion. And if their passion is to truly help you, then they'll do it not for the money. They'll actually do it because they care about you. And that's the best experience you're going to get. I've met people that I've fallen into the trap of spending a lot of money on courses or a lot of money on programs that um, I think are good, but they don't truly want to help you. They truly want the money you're giving them. You're
Mhm.
not going to get the same result.
it's it's improving your mental, like improving your health is just tough because like for me personally, like it took me like over a decade to figure out the basics, and then in that additional decade of just constant trial and error, it feels like you're wasting your time. You're like, why the heck am I even doing this? Like I've been meditating for 6 months straight, I don't feel a difference. Why am I still wasting 15 minutes of my day every morning while I'm half asleep doing this? And I'm nearing 2 decades into my own health journey, and I'm still learning, right?
Yeah,
So like to skip the years of trial and error and to make like progress more quickly,
yeah,
the best thing you can do is just to work with someone who's been there and knows what he's talking about. And Tex, you're one of those people. So if someone wants to connect with you or work with you or just chat, right, and just like have like questions about because just have questions about like what it will look like for them to improve their mental health, where can they find you?
So as of right now, I don't know when this is going to be up, but as of right now, the website is still in progress. I built one. It was so overwhelming to everyone who read it. I was like, okay, we don't need to tell them about 20 years in the future. We can tell them about right now. So there's one in progress. You can reach me there. It is vitalgroundsmarket.com.
Mhm.
And that'll have the pre-launch page for Vital Grounds, but also it'll have my health coaching page as well. And if you want to go there, I don't charge you for a consultation. I'll talk to you for free. I don't want $2,000. I'm not a money guy. But in reality, that consultation will strictly just be, I'm going to give you information. You don't have to talk to me again after that if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's really that. I mean, eventually, I've even thought about giving people my phone number online. Like, just reach out if you have a question, text me.
From speaking from experience, don't do that. Because I don't know if you know, or those of you guys watching this, you're probably in the KALM family, but so you know this. But I've texted all 10,000 customers that we've ever gotten with my cell phone. But before, I'm like, rather than just texting them, why don't I just leave my phone number on the website? I get so many spam calls now.
True. Okay.
So don't. I'm like, shoot, do I need to change my phone number? But if I do, I have to retext all 10,000 people. Like, here's my new phone number. But so I'm currently trying to figure this out. But don't do it. We'll figure. I think we can probably do like a simple Google Forms, so that so like, hey, if you guys want to contact Tex, just fill out your name and email, and Tex will reach out to you personally. We'll figure that out. But Tex, there was just so much information here, so much juicy things for people to actually like soak in and take. It's not the first, second, or third, but like they could probably take the first 10 steps in transforming their lives. And there's a quote from Hormozy, I'm gonna butcher, but it's like, if you watch this 1 hour and 15-minute podcast and your actions don't change, you have learned nothing, right? So if you guys if this resonated with you and you guys really want to take those first few steps of change, reach out to Tex, and he will make sure that you are taken care of. And Tex, I really appreciate you for taking the time to hop on.
Dude, of course. I love this stuff for sure. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Well, brother, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And for everyone else, don't forget to stay healthy and happy. Peace.